Hello, one and all. I'm Sonia Poulton, journalist and broadcaster, and it's Friday, January the 22nd, 2021, and welcome to the Raw Report. How are you all doing? How are our live chatters tonight? Let me just see who we've got. Oh, busy. It's busy already. Wonderful to see you all. No Wing Media, Anna Set, Rennie 0121, Romford Bloke. Oi, oi, Savaloy. I got ya. London Lady, Hazy Daisy, Country Boy. A big hello to all the newbies tonight. Absolutely, Country Boy. Welcome them in. Little Carol. Let me see who else we've got. Monopod. Okay, now I'm going to struggle with this one. Mondo Descondicito. Hey, I hope I got that right. Pixiekins. Yes, I am live. Who else? Let me see. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. Please continue to send me your stories of turning your life around because I want to showcase you on here. Also, please continue to send me guest suggestions, people that you'd like to come on the Raw Report. I think I've pretty much acted on every request. It's not for lack of trying if your favourite has not appeared yet, so just be patient. The Raw Report. As I said last week, we're switching and changing our format, trying new things. This week, we started Raw Report specials. These will be longer interviews, separate from the Friday night live stream. We started with Frank Bruno. Some of you may have seen it, others haven't. It's available on brand new tube right now. I talked with him really about everything from his mental health issues to Jimmy Savile to shaking hands with Peter Sutcliffe, what that was all about. Has anyone heard about this? It came to my attention today that some airlines are turning away people who have already had NHS COVID tests. Consequently, we are hearing that people are being forced to pay £150 per private test in order to travel. Have you experienced this? Let us know. I think we can all see where this is going if airlines are refusing people who have been tested by the NHS and are demanding private tests. So let me know if you've heard anything similar, and we will tackle it and we will explore it and we will investigate it and we will expose those who are responsible for it. I want to talk about a topic, a subject that means a great deal to me. I've done a great deal of work about it, and that is the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. So where are we in this case? I thought it was about time for an update. Well, Madeleine will have been missing for 14 years this May. There are 3 ongoing police investigations: the British Operation Grange, the Portuguese investigation, and the German one. Multi-millions have been spent searching for one child in a world where one child goes missing every 5 minutes. That alone is suspicious to many people. As you will no doubt know, there has been a concerted effort over the last 6 months to make German prisoner Christian Bruckner into the man who kidnapped Madeleine McCann. But despite the support of newspapers running unproven allegations against Bruckner, including accusations of rape and child abuse, the German authorities have failed to pin Madeleine's disappearance on him. This, despite British police leaping in to support the announcement of Bruckner as the #1 suspect and throwing a press conference in June 2020 to make a big song and dance about it. I said immediately that there was a problem, and there was. Bruckner's apparent involvement made no sense to those who have researched the case. Police named him as the #1 suspect when really they were going on a fishing exercise. They held him up as a target and hoped to get information to nail him. I have never seen a case where authorities are so determined to pin a crime on someone. I don't doubt that Christian Bruckner is likely a very unsavory individual and possibly dangerous. However, what has been written about him is unacceptable given that he has not been charged with Madeleine's disappearance. He's been tarred and feathered as the man who did it, and yet police are still failing to prove that he was. British media, save for 1 or 2 outlets, have continued to push the Bruckner theory despite lack of evidence, because the truth is British media is complicit. British media has created obstacles in getting to the truth about Madeleine's disappearance, and journalists and broadcasters know this. However, their error is compounded with newspapers and TV programs happy to find a patsy for no other reason than a failure to investigate the story appropriately and without political or public relations interference. As many know, I have questioned the official narrative since the beginning. I have made 2 documentaries about the case, and I continue to question not only the £14 million spend that the British government have paid out for a crime that didn't even happen in this country, and also, the fact that Madeleine was reported missing and have failed, and the people there have failed to cooperate appropriately. I've seen a piece of evidence with my own eyes which calls into serious question what has been said and done about Christian Bruckner. I cannot say any more. I await the moment I can. However, it leaves me in little doubt that Christian Bruckner is not the man and never was. Despite them trying to shoehorn him into being the man who kidnapped the world's most famous missing child. So I will update you on that as and when I can. But I think it's really interesting that 3 police forces were encouraged to turn their attentions on one man. Portugal resisted, but German and British police have done that. And despite, as I say, making him the #1 target, they have failed to be able to substantiate that. I want to talk a little bit about Noah Donohoe and his inquest. As you may know, I have taken an interest in Noah Donohoe's case and have even had brief conversations with Fiona, his mum, who knows I am happy to support her fight however I can. Briefly, Noah was a 14-year-old lad who disappeared last June in Ireland and was found 6 days later dead in a storm drain. Since then, Fiona and the Donohoe family have failed to get the information they need, and a strong online campaign is ongoing to help them get to the truth of what happened to Noah. This week was the preliminary hearing of Noah's inquest, and family solicitor Niall Murphy, whom I've also communicated with, read out a statement. I shall read briefly from it, but it basically an overview is that they are aware of a line of inquiry which requires further investigation in respect of statements received by police that Noah was assaulted as he cycled through the city centre. They are appealing for anyone with knowledge of this event to immediately attend with police to make a statement in relation to this. Please, if you have any information on what happened to Noah Donohoe, please save his family this absolute misery. They need some sort of closure on this. Please go to the police. Let them know what you know. A disturbing story came across my desk this week. Why are sex offenders, including paedophiles, going off the radar? Answer: because they are allowed to change their identities. Here's a fact. We now know that more than 900 British sex offenders have disappeared from police radar. How do they? Well, that's simple. Some change their names and some claim to be a different gender. This is most notable with male perpetrators who claim to be women after they have attacked women or children. It's been recorded that some abusers have changed their names up to 5 times to cover their tracks, and it couldn't be more simple to do it. Changing names takes 15 minutes online, and over 1,300 sex offenders have already done it since committing their offences. Those are the ones we know about, but there are others who are changing their names, not notifying authorities, and simply disappearing to re-offend again. So even though it's an offence for people on the sex offenders register not to notify the changes, many are not notifying authorities. The fact is, sex offenders, including paedophiles, are notoriously cunning and will do whatever they can to carry on abusing. Changing their names makes it more difficult for members of the public to do an online check into a person's history. But here's where it starts to get really troubling. Last year, the Safeguarding Alliance asked police forces how many sex offenders have gone missing. Only 16 police forces provided data, but it amounted to 913 offenders who have just disappeared like that. It's thought many of these have changed their names and chosen not to tell the police. This is a flaw in the current legal system, and it's a flaw that predators are exploiting, because when these abusers change their name, they go under the radar of all the authorities by obtaining a new passport, a new driving license, and basically erasing their past. At the moment, the onus is on the offender to tell police of their names, but they don't. Abusers are deceptive and manipulative by nature. The system must change, where it does not only rely on an abuser to tell the truth, but that it is inbuilt into the system to check on people's previous histories before allowing them to change their identity. But there are further problems with what has been happening. There are a number of laws that have been put in place since 2000 which have been impacted by this. This includes Sarah's Law, which followed the murder of little Sarah Payne at the hands of paedophile Roy Whiting. Sarah's Law is designed to enable people to check if those with access to children have any child sex offences. What a great scheme that's now in jeopardy. There was also Clare's Law, which came into force in 2014 and allows women to check if their partners have an abusive history. But these schemes cannot protect people if abusers are freely allowed to change who they are. These two laws are essentially useless right now while people can hide their past with the click of a mouse. The only solution to me is simple. If you are a convicted sex offender, be that a rapist, a paedophile, or whatever that makes you a convicted sex offender, you lose your right to hide. The rest of society must always know who you are. There should be a total ban on people changing their names if they have serious convictions. I know people will talk about human rights, but what about the rights of us to be safe and our children? In my opinion, that trumps the rights of sex offenders who lose their right to demand privileges the moment they harmed another human being. I see it that simple because I believe it is. There's a petition online at petition.parliament.uk. It's called Revoke the Right of Registered Sex Offenders to Change Their Name by Deed poll. I checked before I came online. It had over 37,000 signatures. Please add your signature to it. I'm going to move on now because I see that my first guest has arrived.